Hi, and welcome to Coach's Corner, where systems matter and both personal and professional learning and development is beneficial for everyone and essential for some. As always, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit the notification bell. Let's get started.
Oh, man. Well, thank you. So for the last section, we're going to talk about scalable businesses.
Yeah.
So the first question is every business scalable?
Probably not, but I think we need to define it, because I think people talk about growth and scalability as two different things, or they'll interchange them together.
Yeah.
So for me, when you grow a business, what's happening is that you're taking that business, let's say from $50,000 a year or a month or a weekend, right? Whatever that is, and you're growing it to 100,000, but your expenses grow with it.
Right.
So you're growing, but you're not really getting much back in return. It's the same net back in your pocket. So, as an example, these guys weren't business owners, but it'll share the example.
Yeah.
I had an ex-agent of mine who was doing the life insurance, and his mom and dad worked at least 12 hours a day at this restaurant. We were talking about that earlier. It wasn't their restaurant. No, I take that back. They did own it. No, here we go.
Okay.
They did own it.
Okay.
And it was right off a major freeway in town.
Okay.
And everybody knew this place, right? And so we were just talking about it in general. This was 20 years ago. They were bringing in $1 million gross a year.
Okay.
And they were working, I'm not kidding you, dude. They worked to the bone.
Yeah.
10, 12 hours a day, both of them. What do you think that their net money was, including salary and everything, what they were paying themselves at the end of the year, if they put it in their pocket? What do you think?
Well, I'm going to go with not a lot. 60,000?
50 G's.
Wow.
So
Maybe
maybe they grew the business from $500,000 to $1 million.
Right.
But they were adding in, obviously there's going to be more food, there's going to be more of this, but maybe more employees or, different things of that nature.
Yeah.
So to me, that's the growth part of the business.
Yeah.
And then you have the scaling part of it, which would be, to me, not only do you have one business, but you could have multiple businesses. But if you look at it from a money perspective, so when you go from your revenues going from 50,000 to 100,000 in the other scenario, right, it's the same.
Yeah.
But now you're going to 100,000, only costs you 60,000. So now you've scaled that business. You're actually have an additional 40,000. But I also like to talk about the width and the depth. So if you have one business, you can go deep into that business and grow it. And maybe even what you would call scaling. I don't like that word in there, but that's how most people would define it.
Yeah.
I would just call it growing it.
Yeah.
And then you have the other part about that where you start to go wide. Right. And you get 2, 3, 5. So when I was the site coordinator, I was at one school. That was it. So I could go real deep.
Yeah.
Right. And then when I became the program manager, I had 10 schools.
Right.
So I had to go wide.
Yeah.
So that's where systems really matter for people.
Yeah.
So they'll matter as an individual, but if you're there and you're good, if you're the person that's really good and you're there, you're going to make things happen.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying Bruce Arians isn't a great coach. I don't know. I think he's a really good coach.
Yeah.
But Tom Brady's there, and he's able to go deep with each one of those people, and that's part of the reason why they're where they're at.
Yeah.
So, that would be the first thing is, and I don't know if I answered your question, but I wanted to define the difference between the two in two ways, the money part and then also the deep or the depth versus the width.
Yeah.
But did I actually even answer the question?
Yes. Well, you said, originally you said, no, I don't think all businesses are scalable, which that was the question.
Yeah.
You went into that. But that does open up the question.
So can I just say this though? So scalable in probably everybody else's definition. That you can make more money than you're putting out or where you started.
Right.
But in my idea of that, the money and that, no.
Got it. So that opened up my next question of, you've done both. You went deep and you went wide.
Yes.
Which one did you like more? Or which one did you enjoy more?
Yeah, well, get off that enjoyment word. So, for me, it didn't really matter. I just love it. But if I had to even say 50.1 or 49.9, I like to go wide because then that's when you really figure out do your systems work.
Right, because if you have 10 all running the same, obviously.
Yeah, or very similar. Yeah, because the chances of you getting 10 really good people. Because remember, if the person's really good, they'll probably find a way whether they have a system or not.
Yeah.
Now, I still think that with the system, they're going to get better.
Yeah.
Or with a mentor, they're going to be better than that. But, if you look at it, just keep going up.
Yeah.
By yourself, if you're a stud, you'll make it happen.
Yeah.
If you have a system, you maybe only get 2% better. If you have a mentor, maybe you get an additional 5% better.
Yeah.
But we've talked about that before with boiling water. I think at 211, it doesn't boil, and at 212, it does. Or in your world, a tenth of a second or 100 seconds, the difference between winning and losing.
Right.
So, to me, I want to take every little advantage as I possibly can. If they want to in Vegas, when I play roulette, they call me the Chiquita Banana on night one because I have all the yellow chips out. If they want to take those two little green things out, that ups my odds.
Yeah.
Because now it's black and red.
Yeah.
There's not these other two. Then you guys go right ahead, please. Thank you very much. Right? So I want every little chance of succeeding, and my percentages, even if it's a 0.5% better, I want that.
Got it.
And that's what I think systems can, do for you.
So for the next question, I think I already know one of the three, but when it comes to scaling, what are 3 musts? And let me guess. Number 1 is systems.
Yeah, or mindset. I mean, it's the cart before the horse or chicken before the egg.
Yeah.
What a debate, I mean, I think probably in the end, like I say, even if it's 50.1, 49.9, everything happens in your mind first and then it comes to fruition.
Yeah.
We talk about that as the carpenter.
Right.
Measure 10 times in your mind or 5 times or 3 times and then cut.
Right.
Right. And so I think they go hand in glove pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think that, the other reason I might say mindset, if you look at a bad circumstance, like you got in a car wreck, you may not have a system to lift up that car, but your adrenaline, your mind's going so much, you lift up the car and you pull your, kid from say, this has happened.
Right.
So mindset's probably first.
Got it.
But hey, systems matter, and it's a close second, doggone it.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then what were the other, so system would be 2, what would be the third?
Get the right people, man. It's the same thing. It's the same doggone thing over and over. So I was a very successful basketball coach.
Yeah.
Undefeated teams, 10-0, 59-2. I mean, you name it. Very successful. And my system was at the height of the market. And so one of because I was at middle school, but they had heard. And so they came and recruited me to go into high school.
Yeah.
And I was running the same system. And we were 2 and some god-awful number, like 2 and 25.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, and this was my first experience of loss. I mean, I was like maybe 28, 29. I'd been coaching since I was 18.
Yeah.
But really, I've been coaching since I've been probably 4 and 5. Intramural sports and stuff. Yeah. So I'd really been coaching for a long time and always had won, always been successful.
Yeah.
So I brought in this guy. He was on the Cal State Bakersfield National Championship 33-0 team.
Yeah.
And he was the counselor at our school.
Okay.
And so I bring him to a game, and I'm like, dude, like I don't get it. Because in my mind, we can still beat everybody.
Right.
Like even though we're losing by 40, 30, in my mind, I'm like, we can still win. Like, what's going on here? Yeah. So I bring him there, and at the end of the game, we lost 66-4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he comes to me, and dead square looks at me in my face. He said, if I didn't know any better, I thought your girls were playing for a national championship. He said, you have them playing as hard as they can freaking play.
Right.
And he said, I've seen your 7th grade teams that would wipe the street with those girls because they have zero talent. Yeah, and so, you learn lessons along the way because I thought, well, shoot, systems, it can fix anything.
Yeah.
And I think that it can over time, but you better get some right people in there.
Yeah. And
you better have this amazing mindset because for me, I could have went in the tank. I had never lost before. How do you, I always say that, you judge people's character based off when bad things happen, not when things are going great.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Are you going to go into the tank or are you going to fight? And we see that every year. I'll be curious with the Buffalo Bills. I don't think they'll tank, 'cause I think they have great leadership.
Yeah.
But how are you going to get over the Mahomes hump?
Yeah.
Seriously, we were 59-2. We should have been 60-1. Yeah. But the first year they were better. The second we weren't. And the third year I went into after school programming. So I didn't know.
Yeah.
But how do you get over that hump? And a lot of people don't.
It's tough. Yeah.
We're looking at a Buffalo Bills guy over here in the corner. They were there 4 years and didn't win that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
How do you get over this? Hey, it's not easy.
No, it's not. You're right about that. When it comes to dealing with failure at scaling a business, let's say those three are there. They had the mindset, they had their system in place, and they had the right people, or maybe they thought they had the right people.
Yeah.
Let's say they had the right people.
Yeah. Let's say it's all three good.
Yep. What would be the failure part then?
Sometimes it's timing. Right?
Yeah.
We've used the example before of the surfer that's trying to hit this big wave.
Yeah.
So I think that I know systems matter. We may be 10 years ahead of where people really understand, like, whoa, this is serious. And the reason I know this too is because it was the same thing in our after school programs. Yeah. We were early on that because they didn't even know if after school programs were going to stick at the time, right? Because it was money that was coming in from the feds and the state. They didn't know for sure because there was no such, just like preschool. That didn't used to be a field.
Yeah.
Now it's a field where you got to go take classes, get 12 units or whatever, and then you can go. After school's still not a field technically.
Right.
Because you have to take a test, but you don't have to go and, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we were way far ahead of the wave on that. And even to this point, I think we've been, 12, 15 years. I think after school programs are still like they don't understand, hey, you can come and watch all of our videos. We have a jump start with this, and in the end, it's going to save you a lot of time and money for your own trainers over there. And then if your trainers can understand it, which they will, then they can just go in and spend their time in the field coaching. Right. They don't have to spend the extra hours, 100 hours or more, and then this person leaves. The same problem. They don't get it all the way yet.
Yeah.
So somewhere along the line, I think things will catch up.
Yeah.
But with systems in particular, I think that we may be ahead of the curve.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to online businesses,
yes,
that's where you started. You started your online business. Can you scale an online business?
Sure.
Okay.
I think it's easier in a lot of ways. Now, again, if we talk about it in what I don't love the definition, I love half of it, but not the other half. But yes, because think about it. Once you have, let's think about this. Once you have your printer, you have your your person working for you, or your 10 people working, or whatever. Yeah. You can, depending on how much, how busy you have them, are you stretching them to 100% of their capacity? Yeah. Right? Because there's a lot of people that look like you that are 40 hours a week and work 35 hours, right? Yeah. So when you take a look at that, if you can give them an additional, 5 hours, but there's 10 of you, that's like 50, 60, 70 hours, but you're paying them the same amount, but you're getting an extra 10% in production value, or 20%, or. Right. So once you kind of hit what I call your foundational items, right? Yeah. You don't need to go and get a printer and another printer and another printer. And another. So just on costs like that, let alone the most expensive stuff, which you're paying for the people. Yeah. Right? You don't have to go get 50 more. You may be able to do the exact same thing because you have it systematized to where you're able to say, hey, we can get 5 people. So it takes 50 here. Yeah. We're going to go and create the same amount of revenue over here with their help, or similar revenue. Yeah. And so now we're scaling because we're making more than what we're putting out.
Got it.
If you need to contact Brett or Coach, please do so on his social media accounts, email, and or text. You can find that information in the description below. Again, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit the notification bell. Thanks, and we hope you enjoyed.
We'll give Jesus something to consider. some 24-inch pythons.